Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun Christmas themed scroll saw project video, we're going to be making a miniature Christmas village diorama completely from start to finish over on the scroll saw, except for the base. That'll of course be made over on the table saw and the router table. But you guys know I love miniature dioramas. I love seeing people's creative nature come to life when they build a little miniature diorama, like a model train set, like a little Christmas village. And when Steve Good uploaded this pattern to his pattern catalog recently, I knew I would want to make it and bring it to life visually over here on the platform. All of the pattern has been printed out to its full size, prepped, and attached to our material with clear packing tape, and it is sitting on the table saw in front of us. And here in the pattern pack, you can see a visual representation of what we are going to be making today on video. So really cool. You can see it depicts a classic Christmas village. Here you have the Christmas tree, you have the church with the steeple and the cross, and then a couple of snow-covered houses. You have some accent pieces here for the doors and the windows to add some great miniature detail to it. And then you have a man and a sleigh being pulled by a horse on that wintry evening. So really cool. Steve Good does not depict this pattern with a base, but I have a piece of material to where we can make a base to where it'll be that much more sturdy sitting on a shelf, desk, or countertop. And one thing I really love about Steve Good's patterns is he goes above and beyond. Of course, when you download them, you have this cover page in the PDF with Steve's face on it and a little miniature version of what you are going to be making. And then the next page has the larger photo we printed out depicting the design in a larger detailed photo. And the photos, if you need assembly instructions, would also traditionally follow that. And then the next page is just printing instructions. And then one thing I really love about his patterns that he makes and offers is he draws out each individual piece you need, instead of just saying put like a ×2, a ×3, or something like that beside of them. Here you can see the extra set of windows that was printed out. Again, each individual piece is drawn out. But what we are going to do is do some stack cutting to get all the doors and windows cut out, or the windows primarily. You need 12 of them of this size. So we are going to stack cut those out of 2 pieces of 1/4 inch walnut I milled down. I figured that darker contrast color would look really cool on the design. And then also the spacer and the horse-drawn piece and the larger doors and windows are going to be cut out of another piece of 1/4 inch walnut we milled down over at the Rikon table saw. And then of course you're going to have the base here, and I don't know what kind of material this is. It was over 1 inch thick. You can see there the mark where I milled it down over on the table saw to 3/4 inch in thickness. It's 2 inches wide. I might mill it down a little bit smaller. We'll have to see once we get everything assembled and see it visually after it's cut out over at the scroll saw. The backer board is 1/4 inch thickness there, and you can see it'll have a nice little border perimeter all the way around it, so a nice visual. And then the main bulk of the scroll saw work, Steve Good also indicates to have 1/4 inch thickness, but I opted with all of the detail here to bulk it up just a little bit. I believe this is 3/16 inch craft ply, construction grade material that was given to me. As a matter of fact, all the material I just held up in front of the camera was given to me in some way, shape, or form. So it all came out of the scrap bin, the storage shed, pieces I had laying around. So I didn't have to use none of my quote-unquote good quality material to make this project here. But by all means, you can always make scroll saw projects and designs out of exotic and hardwoods, to where once you get everything done, you will not even need to add any additional splashes of paint or stains or anything like that. But since everything is pretty much prepped and prepared, and Christmas is drawing ever closer here in 2025, let's move the camera over to the workbench so we can drill all the pilot holes required, so we can head over to the Rikon scroll saw and start making some Christmas sawdust. And over here on the workbench, we're going to take the Seiko Scroller's drill and a small drill bit and drill out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And there is several small internal cuts with all of the window panes on the Christmas Village piece itself. And as an optional way, you could of course go about painting the window panes on if you did not want to cut all of them out. But over here on the Rikon scroll saw, we are beginning the scroll saw work here. by cutting out all of the interiors of the window frames themselves. And this is 2 stack cut layers of 1/4 inch walnut we milled down over at the Rikon table saw. And for all of the scrolling on this project, I'll be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, and it will cut through all of the materials we are using today exceptionally well with minimal chip out. I'll do most of the interior cuts first, and then we'll go back and do all of the release cuts. And I'm making this project as Steve Good intended in the pattern pack, so it will take a while to get all of the window panes cut out here. And this is around 3/16 inch upcycled construction grade plywood. And here at a close-up view, you can see me cutting out some of those small window panes itself. As always, taking my time and letting the blade do the work. If you guys would like to try this pattern, it's available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog. Christmas villages are always cool to see in storefront windows, in the local 5 and dimes if they are still around in your area. Just the creative nature of how people will set them up. And you guys know I basically have a Christmas village set up year-round on the model train table in the model train and nostalgia room, and I just love how people's creativeness can go above and beyond when it comes to decorating a little miniature town or village. Doing a lot of the smaller detail work before releasing the pieces, which we are doing now. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. But as I cut all of the pieces out, I'm just setting them aside. That's why I always tell you guys I like having an L-shaped workbench. That way I don't have to keep getting up and getting down. But of course you could put all of the parts and pieces in a parts bin if your scroll saw is not near a workbench like mine is. And now following that long outside perimeter cut line to release the village itself. And again, working with upcycled construction grade plywood can always be tedious because you never know when you're gonna encounter a bad spot in the material. So, as I always say, take your time and let the blade do the work. And once we get everything cut out, I do want to add a special feature to this Christmas village that is not indicated in Steve Good's pattern pack. And I'll begin prepping by doing that now, by laying the scroll work on the backer board and tracing out all of the little round spots on the Christmas tree itself and drilling those out on the backer board with my Craftsman drill here. And now I can measure for the base, and I'll kind of just eyeball everything here. But over at the router table we'll put a slight round over on it. I really would like to start using the router more and incorporating it more in future projects. But then over here at the Rikon table saw, we will cut the base to its final dimensions. And you guys know I only like putting a decorative edge on the front and back side of bases like this. But now it's time to sand everything with 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper in the vibrating palm sander here, using small circular motions and being very careful not to break or chip anything away. And all of the doors and windows and the man on the sleigh, I sanded all of that by hand with a sanding pad and high grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper. But now we are applying splashes of color, a very light shade of Minwax wood stain here to the actual scroll work, and we will stain the backer board here a dark walnut to match all of the walnut accent pieces we cut out that'll be glued to the front side of the scroll work. But we'll wipe off all of the excess and set it aside. And when it dried, it'd be time to begin the glue up and assembly. And I'll be using medium grade CA glue and activator. But by all means, you can of course use wood glue to glue everything together if you want to. The CA glue just allows me to work quickly and efficiently when making the project videos for you guys. But between gluing stages, I'll leave everything for around 5 minutes to make sure everything has completely dried and cured. And you can see I'm using the photo in the pattern pack that Steve Good offers to know where to glue everything together. Again, Steve Good always goes above and beyond when it comes to designing the patterns that he offers for scroll saw woodworkers. But you can see the project taking shape here. And now it's time to glue the piece to the base. And I'll use a generous amount of CA glue here from Klingsborg Woodworking Shop. And again, I'll set it aside for around 5 minutes to make sure it completely dries and cures. But then it'll be time to give it a few coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss for finish and protection, and to also make that grain pop and give it a nice glossy appearance for years to come. And we still have one more step to do, but while the clear gloss is drying, I wanted to show you guys the beautiful miniature city that I get to go to year-round up at the Mebane train display in Mebane, North Carolina. It is a huge model train layout, and I'm so thankful and blessed to be able to work on this and run trains here year-round. But after the clear gloss had dried to the touch, I flipped the piece over, and I'm using an LED battery pack that has lights on it from the dollar store. And I'm going to glue those in all of the holes we drilled out on the backer board. And I was originally going to use hot glue, but it was taking way too long for the hot glue to set up, so I went back to using the medium grade CA glue and activator. But I just felt this would give the project a nice Christmassy glow. And of course, with the battery pack, you can turn the little village on and off. But thank you all for watching as we made this miniature Christmas village diorama. And here we have the completed Christmas village, cut out primarily over on the Rikon scroll saw from start to finish, and it finished up beautifully with some immaculate and spectacular Christmas scenery and details. I want to once again thank Steve Good for a beautiful pattern from his pattern catalog. Once again, it's one of his newer pattern offerings from here in 2025, and I hope a project like this just shows the versatility of a scroll saw. Again, a scroll saw is a very versatile tool to have out in a garage or workshop, and it doesn't take up a large footprint like a lot of the other bigger tools available out there in the big wide world. It took me around an hour and change to scroll everything out completely from start to finish. It's not an overly complex design, it's just with the nature of it and some of the tedious small parts, you need to, of course, take your time and let the blade do the work and be as loyal as you can be to the cut line. And I went the extra mile with this project. We got a LED strip from the dollar store for Christmas villages, and I just hot glued it to the back there, and we can toggle it on and off throughout the Christmas season, and it just takes 2 standard AA batteries that are readily available. But again, it was just something to take the project to that next level. It's not indicated in Steve's pattern pack to do that. It's just when I seen the project, the way I viewed it as an artist and a scroll saw woodworker, I thought, hey, it would look cool if some of this was lit up. And my original intention was to light up some of the smaller windows, but as I was scrolling it out at the scroll saw, the idea fell into my head to light up the Christmas tree itself. I know a lot of classic downtowns do what's called a lighting of the green or lighting of the Christmas tree, so you could do your own Christmas countdown and light up your own miniature Christmas tree for your Christmas village. So really, really cool. And again, another cool thing, as I said at the beginning of the video, this is made from totally free material that I either picked up along the way from free scrap bins or something, or family and loved ones gave to me to upcycle out here in the workshop. But by all means, you could of course use exotic or hardwoods and really make a project like this that much more beautiful, if that makes any sense. I'm going to go through the materials we used here in today's video for all of the accent pieces, and the man on the sleigh being drawn by the horse there in the front, and the doors. All of the accent pieces was 1/4-inch material I milled down over at the Rikon scroll saw. The main bulk of the scroll saw work with all of the window panes, the Christmas decorations, the church steeple, and the star and everything, that's 3/16-inch upcycled construction grade plywood that was given to me. And then the backer board was a piece of 1/4-inch material that was from an old shipping crate. And then the base I had in the workshop for a long time, and I'm not sure what that material is. I don't know if that's mahogany or not, but I really love how the rustic tones of this project really give it a creative and rustic and country themed flair to it, if that makes any sense. But again, I'm just really happy with how this project came out. And again, when you download Steve Good's pattern pack, his PDF includes a visual of what it can potentially look like. You can see I almost went with the entire way Steve Good wanted it to be made, but I did do a little bit different route by leaving the buildings, the Christmas tree and all, a light texture to allow the darker shades of the backer board and the accent pieces of the walnut and the base to give it a contrasting tone of textures and everything. And again, with the little battery powered bank in the back, that's just really cool, and it just takes it to that next level. Now, of course, you could go above and beyond with this project and go in with acrylic craft paints and paint everything up. If you wanted to enlarge this project a little bit bigger to set it on a mantle, I still think it would look great on a mantle above a fireplace out in the cabin or something, with maybe some little Christmas decorations or maybe a nutcracker on each side. I love nutcrackers. I love the variety they have. We have one sitting by the family tree in the living room, you know, with all the heirloom Christmas ornaments on it. But that would be a decor option. I do believe if you just wanted to use some little doors and windows, you could use that part of the pattern pack. Again, Steve Good always goes above and beyond with the patterns, and he draws out each individual piece. But of course, we only had to cut it out 6 individual times, all of the little windows there, because we stack cut most of them from 2 pieces of the walnut material we had prepped before we started filming. And I do believe you could also go about this project in different ways. If you did not want to cut out all of the doors and windows, by all means, you could go in there and paint those details on. I know cutting out all of those individual window panes, that took the longest part of all of the scrolling process on this, but I really think if you take your time and let the blade do the work and cut out all of those details as intended, it'll come out nice and crisp and very beautiful once it is fully completed. I want you guys to let me know if you enjoyed me adding the light bank to it. Of course, you could put an LED strip along the front of it if you wanted to. If you wanted to add a bigger base, a wider base, you could of course cut out into All a Good Night or Merry Christmas, whatever year it is, or make it as a Christmas gift for someone that always sets up a Christmas village. I've got a friend that leaves the Christmas village up in his house year-round in the kitchen above the cabinets. Him and his wife have it decorated up there, and it's always really cool to see that when I go over and visit and things like that. And I know some people have heirloom Christmas villages, and I just think this would put a smile on someone's face if you wanted to give this as a beautiful handmade Christmas gift from your garage or workshop. Sometimes those handmade Christmas gifts will speak volumes over anything that is store-bought or ordered online, so always keep that in mind. Again, here is the back. I was going to hot glue everything, and I did hot glue the battery bank, and again, it just takes a little Phillips head screw to pop that little door off and change out the AA batteries. But as I got to holding everything down, it was just taking entirely too long for me for the hot glue to dry, so we switched back over to the CA glue and activator, and you can see it is a mess back there. But again, the back side for this project will be against the wall when it's sitting on a shelf, desk, or countertop. And this is the presented side, what we would call the face side. And again, you can toggle the tree on and off. And I really think the Rust-Oleum clear gloss we added as a finish really made the project pop and stand out. You can see it reflected there in the light of the workshop. Again, I got to be careful how I handle the front side of it because of the cooler weather. It does take longer and longer for paint stains and clear coats to dry out in the workshop this time of year. But once it is fully dried and cured, it'll be ready to be set in the windowsill or on a shelf in the house near the family Christmas tree. That way people can enjoy it for the Christmas season, which is fast approaching, my friends. But again, here is the visual that Steve Good offers, and here is the one that we made in today's video from start to finish. And hopefully along the way, from start until now, you guys picked up a tip, trick, or tidbit along the way. That's going to be about all for this one, as Christmas draws ever closer this holiday season, my friends. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. And remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you guys. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and I'll see you guys real soon.